Can you shape stainless steel with a power hammer? Yes, you can. So this is a little test piece that I've done for a customer of mine just to see how it shapes up in the power hammer. I wanted to see what it would be like, to see roughly what it would be. Now, I've got a project, and this project is for a wedding venue, and it's 2 rings. There'll be a top ring and a bottom ring. Top ring is going to be stainless steel, 1.2, and then the bottom ring will be 1.5 Cortan. So that's going to be thick steel as well. And as most of you would know, stainless steel is hard to move. So first thing I'm going to have to do, I've got some stainless steel blanks here, and I needed to get it to this stage here. So down in here, the material has been shrunk on the edges and brought around. This is pre-rolled in here. I'm going to have to take off this plastic that's on here, otherwise it'll slip in the dies, that sort of thing, and there's no point in having the plastic there because you're hammering it, you're going to mark it. So it will be polished up when it's done. It'll be ground back, welded, needs an edge on it, but these rings are going to be 1.2 high, so I'm going to have to make them in 3 pieces, and it'd have to be welded together, which I think the customer's welding it, but I'm just shaping it up for him. So in getting to this stage here, I'm going to have to do some marks, get a bunch of shrinking in, which will be on the thumbnail shrinking dies and the power hammer, and then using the kick shrinker as well to just tidy up those little end pieces, and then we'll run it through, smooth it off in the power hammer, and see how it shapes up to create a big ring. So we'll do the stainless steel first, and then get into the Cortan. That's very satisfying. Now, what I'm doing here is marking out my shrink line. So this one here, that's 80 mil in, and then the next one, that's 40 mil in. So the first shrink that I'm gonna do is on the thumbnail dies, which essentially is doing a tuck shrink, which it peaks the material up, and as you pull it out, it crushes that material back in on itself, shrinking those edges, causing them to go around. So first one will be from the edge up into here, first pass all the way through, up to 80 mil, and then the second pass from there, halfway, 40 mil in, and then those lines is a stop mark of where I can come up to and stop shrinking. So we'll run over to the power hammer, change a few settings, and then put this in and start shrinking. These are my thumbnail shrinking dies for when I'm doing these car bodies or motorcycles, doing the 1 mil cold rolled steel. So that bit there is pretty much what's going to pucker that material up as it comes in, and then as I feed it out on that flat bit, it's going to crush it back down into itself, and they're very good for doing heavy shrink. So these are really good and an important tool to have really in my industry. You can do it without it, but this is just a lot quicker, and doing such heavy material like this is going to be key. So they're the dies, but I've got to change my stroke setting here. So this stroke here, I pretty much, when I'm doing that cold rolled steel, I have it at about 12 o'clock, which is a pretty good hit for me that I find on this machine. And then if you come back a little bit, that's what I use for aluminium, which brings that stroke not as high up, and you're just going to have a lighter, easier hit. So it's not going to move as much material with Ali being so soft. So bring that forward to my stainless steel setting that I've got here. So I'll bring that stroke forward, which is going to bring that up, and it's going to come down a lot harder. So that's where I'm going to set it for planishing out and doing these shrinks on this. So I'll change that over, chuck the thumbnail shrinking dies in, and we can hook into this. that's the first step of the shrinking process. These edges, these two are looking pretty rough. This is looking rough, but not as rough as these. Will be smoothed out and looking really nice. But that's the first stage done. So these shrinks have been put in. Now I just want to correct the form a little bit, and then we'll do some kick shrinks along this edge, tidy it up, get it a little bit smoother like it is here, and then we can run it through and start smoothing this out on the hammer. So that was first shrink up to this line, second shrink up to there. As you can see, it's starting to get that curve to it. Now we just got to jump to the kick shrinker and then get that a little bit nicer before we start smoothing it. I just want to smooth these lumps out that are in this panel a little bit more. So nylon hammer, I just want to hit it onto the bench a little bit, just to sort of roll that edge a bit, because it is stainless, being mild steel, it would form a little bit better, but I just want to have it flow just a little bit more and then take it to that kick shrinker. So I'll start hammering this up, as well as using the power hammer for shaping up this stainless steel ring that I'm going to be doing for this guy. I've gone and got myself a heavy duty shrinker stretcher. This is a new one from Hare & Forbes, and it'll do 2 mil steel. So that's some bumper bar thickness stuff. If you want to do shrinks or anything on a bumper bar or shrink a really long flange, something that you're doing, this is going to be ideal. If you're going anything above 1.2, 1.5, 2 mil, you're going to be able to shrink some stuff, even chassis material on this shrinker. So nice new little tool for the workshop and perfect for this job that I'm going to be doing. We'll get this machine out and use this in on this job, as well as using the power hammer just to nip up those edges, bring that round that little bit more and do that little fine tuning with this thing. All right, let's open this up, see what's inside. I'd say it probably needs putting together. There it is. That dropped off, but got all the pieces in here. power hammer's done really good work. I've run through, crushed these edges where those ridges were on down in here, and I have given it a little wash over on the wheel just to finish it off, but the power hammer has done the big bulk of this work. So next thing I'll be doing is the core 10. These edges are going to have to be hit with a grinder just to get rid of these marks, so when it is welded together and everything, when those welds get grinded up, these edges, just to get rid of these marks here, will get grinded up and it will get polished. But I have made it to a 10-inch radius. So this here is a radius gauge. It's got different shapes in it all the way around with different curvatures. So that will go ahead with the sweep set. I did get this from my mate at Motor Retro. So that's a 10-inch radius all the way on all of these. So they are all the same. And I have done that shape on the edges to this template here. So that's pretty much half of the circle. It's a 1.2 meter circle. And I've shaped that up to that just to fine tune it, get that angle the same all the way around. That curvature's the same. It's a 10-inch radius all the way through. This will make for a nice job. I'll do the 1.5 core 10, do those, and then done. So this is going back to the owner. He's going to weld it up. And then next thing I'll be getting into is core 10. So hope you guys have enjoyed. Doing this shape is basically making a motorcycle guard. So you'll go the same thing, but you go more curvature, more shrink, more stretch up in through here in the center if you were making a motorcycle guard, and they would be a lot smaller. These are pretty big to shape. They're 1.5. Tune in on some of the other videos. Back into the car stuff next.